Gypsy! Gypsy! You gonna get a little snack? Gypsy?
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
Here we are. Everybody, hi, everybody. Nice to see you. My name is Ian. Welcome to the program brought to you by our friends over at Easy Auto Financial. Easy Auto Financial. Getting a car has never been this easy. It's super easy to get financing. They do everything. Everything for you. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. No obligation. Check them out today. Free financing. Who doesn't love free? If it's free, it's for me. Hi to our friends at Blue Microphones, the official equipment sponsor and partner of DeanBlundell.com and our podcast network, now 78 strong. Go to Blue Microphones for everything you need, including microphones, headphones, etc. BlueMic.com for all of your broadcasting needs. There you are. Also, Domination, our official AI partner. They help us with production. Try them today if you're interested in trying to do some legacy stuff and content and you want to make it easier on yourself. DMNTN.com. Try them today. DMNTN.com. And, of course, Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch, luxury underwear. EdsFineImports.com. Gitch3 is your promo code. You've never had better underwear. Boxer briefs for dudes. Without further ado, let's start the program. Please welcome, as always, everybody. Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM is back. Also, James DeFiore from Black Belt the podcast. And the man himself, Marineland's biggest fucking nightmare, the Walrus Whisperer, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Demers is joining us today. We got big news out of, Welland. I don't know if the big news ever come out of Welland, but anyway, listen, great to have you here, Phil. Really thankful you're here. Did you guys watch the hockey game last night? Anybody watch the Leaf opener? Leaf, did you watch the Leaf opener? Did you watch it? No, you didn't watch the Leaf opener, did you, Lach?
I did.
You didn't. You did?
I
didn't watch much of it?
Bit of it.
Yeah.
I always
1-2-1.
enjoy watching. I always enjoy the watching the Habs lose, and even if that is the Leafs beating them, it's still an enjoyable thing for me. But yeah, and then I watched we got this stupid thing where they start the games late if they're on the television schedule here in Edmonton. And so I got the first period in, but then I went to bed because I'm up early, right? I can't watch a full game. So
the first period of the fucking Oilers game? You only watched – really?
Yeah.
It was like it starts at 8 o'clock your time, dude. What are you, like 100?
I'm in bed at 9.
You're going to bed at 9? Dude, I've had phone conversations with you at like 11 o'clock. That's
when I'm
you
drunk.
You just passed out. You
goes to bed at 9, gets up at 10:30, drinks his face off, calls you, goes back to bed.
I love it. It's not a bad idea. I've done that before too. Actually, that's a pretty good idea. So Leafs won last night 2-1, which was great, and then the Oilers won in a shootout.
Thanks for Hyman, by the way.
Shootout.
Holy shit!
Yeah, you're welcome.
To our team.
He's not bad. Yeah, I know. Hey, Phil.
Fucking great.
He looked gross.
For us.
He looked gross in that orange uniform. He looked dirty.
I saw the
pregame. Oh my God, I thought it was awesome.
Didn't it? You see him with the number 18 on his back? That's not his number. He's number 11.
He looked so lively and happy. He looked like he was just ready to go out there and dominate.
He's playing with the best player in the world. No wonder he's happy. Yeah.
Well,
man, that. How did you guys let him go? Like, what? You wanted to keep Matthews?
Yeah. I'm just shocked someone actually signed as a free agent in Edmonton. That was like, I was watching him skate around in that dirty jersey last night, Phil, you're a big Leaf fan too. I was watching him skate around in that dirty orange jersey and the dirty, blue shoulder patches and that silly number 18. There you go. He's a fucking man. And I was like, we didn't need him anyway. I didn't want him here. We don't need a guy like that chasing down pucks. Nothing. We don't. Yeah, no, we need him. It's sad watching him play in a weather uniform.
Holy shit, he's good.
Really sad.
Yeah,
Like I knew he was good, but I don't pay it. You don't pay attention to teams like you pay attention to the one in your own backyard. And last night it was just like everything the Edmonton Oilers were missing came in one package.
Yeah.
And his name's Hyman. And then and
how would you
describe
him?
Fun name to say.
Philly. That's too bad his first name isn't Buster. How would you describe? How would you describe him?
I would describe him as like a fourth line spirit and grit player in like with a first player's mentality. Like he gets dirtier in the corners, comes out with the puck, and he's got hands to make that pass, that second pass, then the puck's in the net. He's a playmaker with like just that. He's just got that drive. And not only that, he's a cornerstone in your room. That's everything. You just need a guy who's who doesn't judge. He immediately looks like a guy who's not going to come down on you. He's going to try to lift you in every which way. And he's going to do it by putting his head down and skating as hard as he can in those freaking corners and dirty spots. I love it, man. I just love those characters.
You know what? To be fair to him and his decision to come to Edmonton, I mean, I think sometimes guys make moves and do things because that one would confuse Leaf fans because everybody thinks that no one wants to come to Edmonton. But I think a lot of times players make moves because they're going to be used a little bit more in another organization. And Hyman will be used more than he was in Toronto. Not that he wasn't any better in Toronto or that he'll be better here in Edmonton. He will just – and if they keep him on I was surprised to see him on the power play. So they dropped Nuge down to the second line of the power play and put him up with Draisaitl and McDavid. And Hyman just needs to go to the net, man. He'll get 30 power play goals this year.
Yeah,
it's also worth pointing out that.
Oh, Phil, write it down. Write this down. Right, and then put your lighter next to it.
Got him at a 40 or 50 goal guy because he's gonna have to pot some in regular time too.
He'll get. We're gonna get 500 power play goals this year, so at least 30 of them are gonna go to Hyman. Write it down.
Jamesy, what were you saying?
I was just going to say it's worth pointing out that despite the city itself and the people, it's still worth coming to Edmonton to play alongside McDavid, isn't it? For some players,
yeah. We're not. Listen, I'm not naive to the fact that people don't want to come here. I live here and I don't want to live here. So I mean. If you got a guy like McDavid,
you're like the first guy from Edmonton I can even stand. Like it's amazing. I'm sorry. I just I've actually never been to Edmonton, but that was on purpose.
I loved. I don't either. I love the people of Edmonton. We have a lot of fans in Edmonton. We've got my friend Kristy's going to join us in a few minutes. I believe she's from the Edmonton area too. So this is I don't have a problem with Edmonton. I just have a problem with you guys taking something from us. That's kind of the problem. However, both teams won. Everything was good, and I watched none of it.
Leave the center of the world.
Why
it's not that great here either. The best players
go to weird teams like that. Pittsburgh, like it just feels like a city that you're not going to want to live in as a superstar. Edmonton, I don't know. Just
one of the things that shocked me about last night too is not only did I not watch the Leaf game, which is like sacrilegious. You should have got to watch fucking opening game against the Habs. You fucking people in the actual arena for the first 72 years. But I watched the men's soccer game last night, like the whole fucking thing from start to finish. Philly. I watched the Canadian men because it's CONCACAF. Listen,
talk about this with other people.
I'm talking.
Like, you have a problem with soccer, go.
I can't watch soccer since I quit drinking.
Yeah, I'm talking about soccer right now, and it was an important conversation. I don't know where Phil's at with the national team stuff. You're not a soccer fan. I'm not a soccer fan either. But this is World Cup qualifying. Canada has been like literally a fucking embarrassment for the last 50 years. Like I remember about 10 years ago, we got beat by the Seychelles. It's like a country of like 98,000 people. I'm like, holy fuck, we're ranked 215th in the world, and there's 212 fucking countries. Like that's how embarrassing Canadian soccer's been. I watched a game last night of Canada, Panama, BMO Field, and we had fucking fans. There were drums. There were fucking flags. There was like I was talking to Craig Forrest, one of the greatest soccer players to ever play the game from the country of Canada. He played the Premier League. I was talking to him this morning. He's like, oh, I'll read you the text. He's like, dude, these guys are going to fucking Qatar. They're going to the World Cup for the first time in like 50 fucking years. And I'm going to show you a goal that Alphonso Davies scored. Did you see this goal, Phil?
Why are we doing
You
this?
see the goal? Dude,
Oh, I didn't.
this was, oh my
No,
God.
because you're-
Alphonso Davies, who's like the best
You're not
player
a
in the world,
soccer
plays
fan,
for Bayern.
and that's okay.
He's not a soccer fan, but doesn't matter. You don't have to be a soccer fan. I'm not a soccer fan either. I fucking hate the game. All the diving and the flopping and the magic spray. And then
All
you
we
get
do
up
is
and
That's
run.
just Italy.
Yeah, that's just Italy and France,
Run.
actually.
I went
Yeah.
to a friendly, an international friendly in Korea. It was Korea versus Turkey. Now that's an event, okay? That's an event to go to. When you can be at an international game somewhere in the world where you don't understand the language you're speaking, now that's a freaking event.
But the event is the crowd, right? Because I went to one in Latin America, and I my God, am I going to get out of here with my life? Like, it was
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
They have fireworks and they spray
that's
them all
why you
over
don't
each
wanna
other and
go.
shit. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Went to a soccer game and died. How did Dean
No,
die?
but this is
Well,
what
he
I'm.
went to a
This is
soccer
what I'm
game and you're
talking
a-
about, Locke. You're
He's
such
killed.
a you're such
He
a
was killed by
crabby
bunch
old
of
dude.
fans.
You're such a
No, you
killjoy,
weren't killed.
Lachlan.
This was at BMO Field yesterday. Watch. I want you to watch this. This might have been the best goal I've ever seen. And a Canadian dude scored it. Alphonso Davies, Bayern Munich, best player in the world right now, is Canadian. Canadian. And they fucking thumped Panama, who are a fucking tough international team, which I just found out today because I don't watch soccer at all. At all. So I'm
wouldn't have
talking out
known
of
that.
my ass. Well, watch this. This is fucking unbelievable. Watch Alphonso Davies. So you can see him coming out of the corner. You see him on the right. Watch him chase this ball down before the other cat gets there and watch what he does with it.
Davies is on it. Davies
Watch this.
takes it away.
Boom.
2v1.
Watch.
Davies has Buchanan. Alphonso Davies keeps it himself. Goal! Alphonso
I think that
Davies,
kid might
are
be
you
from
kidding me?
Edmonton.
He is.
Is he?
Immigrant, yeah, his family immigrated from somewhere, I can't remember where, right to Edmonton and then came to Toronto. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at that. They scored one goal in 72 hours.
Watch this replay. Watch this
I've never
replay.
been so
Watch this
excited
replay.
to
You
watch
can't do this.
football.
You can't do this shit, Locke. I don't know. There might be nobody on the planet that can do this other than this dude, and he's Canadian. That's what I'm saying. Look at this.
He does exactly that.
It's like he's out of the fucking Matrix, and they go on to win 4-1, and it's over. They're going to go to the fucking World Cup, boys.
So did the introduction of TFC and MLS into Canada, that's what sort of created the sort of the blueprint for what would eventually be the inspired youth and everything. Because I feel like maybe soccer
The
didn't have,
immigrants really
but
built our soccer scene, I think. Like the immigrant,
I feel
community.
like it would have had the people, but not the program, right? It just wouldn't have had the
Yeah.
program, but the people were always there, but there just wasn't that thing. I feel like the emergence of the league, and then suddenly you've got people where it's like, okay, now there's a place for us, you know?
It's huge. That's a great
also
fucking
think the
point.
fact that
Great point.
that you can play soccer anywhere, right? I mean, some of the best players in the world, played on dirt, right, with no shoes. So, I mean,
With a goat's head. That's actually
with
true.
the goat's head, yeah.
Mhm.
Kicking it around. A couple eyeballs falling out here and there.
In Afghanistan.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
not-
It's like any poor human being can play this, can kick something, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is. But I'm just like, listen, I'm putting you guys on notice
I
that
think it's
I'm going to be
sad.
watching a lot more soccer. No, it's incredible. It's not sad.
It's-
I'm going to be
Dude,
watching a lot more
in
soccer.
this country.
That
is
atmosphere right there, I'm going to watch more too.
anti-Canadian.
That's addictive.
Wouldn't you? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it. They had the drums.
Yeah,
Dude, I didn't even know we had a soccer chant. You know how you get jealous when you watch Premier League games or other countries like, hey, oh, yeah, like all this stuff. We have one.
yeah,
I didn't even know we had one. I was watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
feeling that. I'd like to be there. I'd like to be exactly in that pit right there.
I find
Yeah,
you guys
me too.
annoying.
You're not allowed to come.
Yeah. What's that, Philly? Yeah, exactly. Well, we're just talking about something different, right? We don't have to lead with COVID all the time. Phil Demers joins us. Phil, of course,
Let's not talk about COVID. Let's talk about soccer.
Let's talk about soccer to
How
start
about
the
darts?
show. Well, I'm just talking about the sea change in soccer. I loved it.
Oh,
Phil.
I love darts.
Do you really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Look at you
drink
making
one
fun of
all
fucking
day.
soccer, and you love fucking darts. Phil,
Darts
Marineland. Phil's here because he's for the last 10 years not just been battling Marineland to let go of their animals. Recently, he's been battling them in the courts. He's got a court date coming up. It's supposed to be. It's getting fucked up. These guys have tried to silence him every way they can. He has not shut up. He is the reason that these animals are getting the attention that they're getting. So I'm really happy that you joined us, Phil. But there's a rumor going around, and I wanted to clear it up, that Marineland is closing in 2022. Now, what say you? Because you're the guy driving the bus.
So what I would say is, rather than qualify what's happening to Marineland as closing, what I would say instead is they are no longer financially viable to continue. So what you'll find is there just won't be a 2022 operating season for Marineland, but it won't be because of some big announced sort of swap of hands or management change or sale or impending anything that's happened. It's just that they are for sale right now. The entirety of this season went by with them almost not even opening. I mean, frankly, they had a near desperate hiring spree in the just 10 days before they opened, because they themselves weren't convinced that this was the season to open. They've been touring buyers, etc. I understand that the sale to be something of not a level of desperation, but that there is such thing as being on the clock, and that I'm told that clock expires before being able to open in 2022. So I shouldn't turn around and say it's a virtual impossibility that they open. I'm saying shy of something extraordinary, they won't. And I don't know that anyone can say that, given the fact that Marineland has operated consistently for 60 straight years.
How are the animals? Like, where are we at, Phil, with who's left there?
The animals are in living hell. And I don't say this because I'm hoping people tune in and turn around and say, oh, what he's going to say is, no, listen, the animals' lives are hell. They are in living hell. You've got whales in concrete tanks that the water of which has not been maintained. The water disinfection units are all broken down. And now what you're witnessing, case in point, this video, is the animals are the effects of which are affecting the animals so badly that their mental health is deteriorating. Some of them are dying. Again, what Marineland and no one else is talking about is the fact that there are well over 12, I'm saying even more than 15 whales dead and missing in the last year and a half. And no one's talking about it except for me and the few people that are willing to risk their personal well-being to actually get in the park and film this stuff.
Phil, have you ever talked to like people at organizations like PETA or whatever? Yeah. I don't know which ones are good or bad or whatever, and just to see where they're at with this, and how come you're always flying solo with this Marineland thing?
I've got 2 words: fuck PETA. So here's what problem. So PETA are a bunch of grifters. They're a bunch of grifters. So what PETA does is they'll grab a video off me, they'll steal it, they won't attribute it to me, despite the fact that it's literally video that I'm publishing, and they'll steal it until I get a hold of it. But they're very crafty, and then what they do is they try to allocate donations to themselves. Well, they literally try to separate me from my activism, me personally. They don't like me. They've got me blocked. They're the head of the cult. Her name is Ingrid something. She's got me blocked. There's a lot of animal rights organizations that just outright don't like me because I call them out for what they are: useless pieces of shit. They're literally out there doing nothing. What they do is they purport to do stuff, but it's advocacy work. They want your email so they can send you an email and keep your information in their data bank because it's worth money to them, because they're hoping to get $1 a month out of you so that they can continue to email more and more people. Not a single solitary dime has ever gone from PETA to benefit any of Marineland animals whatsoever, and yet they still offer or they still ask for donations, and they do so grifting off the work of activists, myself, and suffering animals. And I think it's absolute fucking bullshit. So no, when you bring up PETA's name, I get fired up, man, because I absolutely despise specifically PETA, but it's not exclusive to them.
Yeah, I don't know which organizations
they're
are good or bad, but I was if there are any good ones, is there
shocking?
I guess what I'm asking is there a reason why Marineland seems to be like, I don't know, not untouchable, but like I get the ads that they bought made media not want to criticize them, but that's over. So why is it that they're still sort of like not being like, why is the story not being told that much? I mean, it's gotten a little bit better. You've done a lot of work, especially in the last 4 months. I've seen more stories.
Yeah, me too.
But it still doesn't seem to be like on people's radar.
No, so the issue of that is in the same capacity that Marineland padded the stats or padded their relationship with media, they did the same for 59 of their 60 years of operating. It's provincial and federal level government, city level government, in every which way, shape, or form. In fact, they donated the land that the OSPCA used to operate out of, and there was for the longest time up until 2013, there was a plaque that was in the lobby that thanked John Holder for his generosity. So the owner of Marineland was a shrewd businessman. I don't want to take anything away from him. I would not have operated entirely different than him. He made sure that he continued to operate in the void of laws so that he could be very profitable. And he's left this sort of nasty mess, deteriorating mess at Marineland, left to his wife and this weirdo greedy lawyer. But the tables have turned, and government are now trying to get access to Marineland. They're trying to get to Marineland, and now you've got this lawyer who's really trying to protect the assets and protect the new owner, and he's doing so with a lot of aggression, etc. So, the OSPCA has released statements of late, well, months ago, even years ago, changing their tune about animals in captivity. The industry as a whole is turning their backs on Marineland. No one really wants to affiliate with them, especially with the recent sale of 5 whales to the Mystic Aquarium, one of which died, another of which is at risk of dying. No one wants to touch Marineland anymore. But there was a time when, like you said, they were untouchable.
Yeah.
Well,
they're untouchable because they were shoving money around, right? Like how it worked was, and I talked about this last time you had on. Sorry, Locke, I'll let you ask your question in just a sec. Last time we had you on, we were talking about how the collusion portion worked when it came to controlling the media narrative and what these businesses do. And I was in Marineland ad buy meetings when I was in radio, and they would sit you down and go, we got $220,000 for Marineland for the year. That's their ad spend. Do not criticize what's happening there. Do not put Phil Demers on the radio. He is a agent of chaos. That's what they would say.
Yep.
And they would also say, this money pays your salary, so you are bound to not say anything negative about the damage that's being done by Marineland and these animals. As you can clearly see, this is Kiska, September 24th, bashing her head against the side wall of her tank because it's filled with shit and she's losing her fucking mind. And that is how this has been allowed to perpetuate for 60 years, Locke. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, I think a lot of times, too, what ends up happening is because I do this, and I think a lot of people do this, when they see a situation and they see a story they can't handle, they just walk away from it rather than pay any attention to it. They can't. I find every time we have Phil on, I have major anxiety because I just can't believe that this is happening. It just, I know it needs to happen, but I'm saying that I think there's a lot of that. And then if you got a really aggressive lawyer who realizes that 99% of the population is afraid of conflict, right? We were talking about this morning. This is a stupid parallel, but I phoned Shaw to get a new remote because my dog ate my remote and they wanted to charge me $25. And I said, listen, I'm not paying you $25 fucking dollars. You guys you're robbing me every month. You violate me every month. Send me a fucking remote. No one does that. Everyone just goes, oh, okay, all right. Just send me.
Yeah.
So
everybody's afraid of conflict.
Yeah, everyone's afraid of conflict. So there's very few people like Phil out there, right? And we need more guys like Phil. And
that aren't afraid of the outcome. The thing about Phil is that, Phil, and we were talking about it, and I think it's probably a fucking great segue, way to go, Locke, to be able to go into the legal portion of this. Because don't you have a court date coming up in November that's been 9 years in the making? Because they tried to sue him for $1.5 million because he was telling the truth about what was going on there. And this is 9 years later. Don't you have a court date with these guys on the 23rd? Like, where is it?
No evidence, no witnesses, no receipts for any damages. I haven't had a chance to defend against an iota of evidence, anything that anyone can claim that they've actually seen me do, nothing. But November 23rd is when we're supposed to go what's called pre-trial. And my understanding of how pre-trial works is a former judge is going to so let's assume we're actually all there at actual court. It won't be something available to the public, but what's going to happen is this former judge will walk from room to room, us being in one room and respectively Marineland and their lawyer in another. And this guy is basically going to batter us and tell us how awful our chances are in court and in every which way to find a way to resolve it before going to court. I mean, I just can't fucking wait personally because, again, can you imagine at 9 years?
You need to videotape this, Phil.
I haven't tried to defend that. I'm trying, man. But just
at least audio. At least audio.
Look, I'll be honest. I don't see how they're conceivably going to attend. Now, I don't know what they're going to do to jumble it up. What Marineland does, or Marineland's lawyer, Andrew Burns, does, is at the 11th hour before a motion, he will try to complicate matters and try to cancel it in this crazy, aggressive, conspiracy theory laced, it's always this crazy, like he'll bring up some criminal complaint. He'll say something. We just don't know at this point what yet.
Can I ask you a quick question, Phil? Because you just reminded me of the legal stuff. Did your case start before the anti-SLAPP legislation was implemented?
Yeah. So
because from what I understand, like they wouldn't be able to do that if case started tomorrow.
No, they wouldn't. And what's sad about that is I actually spoke as a witness to the anti-SLAPP hearings, of which Jagmeet Singh was one of the members on the actual committee, and he specifically and poignantly asked me, what would this mean to you if this legislation passed? And I said, well, it would be the end of my nightmare, because every day I don't know if my fiscal sovereignty turns to zero and evaporates, because all of my savings are at subject of being lost. In fact, and not because I would be sued to any level of success by Marineland. It's just that the process itself is so expensive that most of the hurdles I would have to pass through, I just wouldn't be able to afford, which is a reality of what it is, if not for the sake of people having helped me out. This would just been a virtual impossible endeavor to follow up with. But, they took it into consideration, this and that. The original anti-SLAPP legislation was tabled by the NDP party. It included a retroactivity clause so that lawsuits such as mine would retroactively be able to rely on the literature of anti-SLAPP. But at the time, might I remind you, Kathleen Wynne was suing a member of the Conservative Party for comments that they made about a gas plant scandal. And so Kathleen Wynne herself relied on a SLAPP suit, and her party, when they reintroduced the anti-SLAPP legislation, they gutted the retroactivity. So I sat there and I watched a bill that I largely would have been arguably part of the inspiration for, and I watched it lose all of its teeth. So the only way that I could
because of politics.
Yeah, the only way that she was suing McGuinty, by the way. The only way that I could rely on the anti-SLAPP is if Marineland were to amend the claim and make a new claim that would supersede or by virtue of would now be subjected to anti-SLAPP. But, and I shouldn't say it, but my lawyer and I almost had Marineland's lawyer trapped into fucking up and doing it, but he must have been consulted by someone with a little bit more brains than him.
Have you thought about writing a book, Phil?
Oh, absolutely! I cannot wait to. The only thing that's caused me to not write a book of late is because I want to do it in retrospect, because my language will be very different, and not that I just want to be. I want to be able to look at it with clear.
You want to be able to not say "fuck PETA."
Right. I want to be able to not be exactly angry every time another subject comes up, because I can't type as fast as I speak. So it's just best at some point that maybe when I start to look back on things, I'll write it. And maybe then it might be a little bit more cathartic and less sort of angry, because right now everything that I say and do has a sort of an intention. Like I say things as I do. Remember, I say things knowing that Marineland's watching. I say things knowing that Marineland's piece of shit lawyer Andrew Burns is watching. And so I say things in the hopes of sort of
I love you.
Yeah, like I operate sort of differently, right? So I'm
right when you're angry, dude. That's my advice. Right when you're fucking angry, just get it all out. Edit when you're not angry. Right when you are angry. Right.
I walk aggressively when I'm angry, and if you happen to see me out in the streets, I look like that guy. Every community's got one. The guy who's walking around all the time very angrily. I'm that guy. I'm the guy that they don't know, that people start to wonder if I have a home or not. They're like, that guy really just always walks very angrily.
Do you yell at parking meters?
I do.
So because music,
I don't even drive when I yell at parking meters.
I'm listening to very aggressive music. Yeah, if I find a staple that's stuck in a telephone pole, I'll try to pull it out for an hour. Sure.
I don't care if my fingernail's hanging on the goddamn pole. That fucker's coming out.
Well, I think what people don't understand is I think maybe they do. Like, I look at your situation, Phil, and I know what James is talking about, because this is so emotionally important to you, right? Yeah. And you've done the right things, Phil. Like, to be chastised and fought for doing the right things for 9 fucking years, and to not know every year if you're going to have enough money to be able to live a human life because some incredibly wealthy organization is trying to shut you up. That's the fucking stuff that not many people follow through with. 9 out of 9 people wouldn't generally go, you know what, not worth the headache. I'll put my energy into
10 out of
fucking
10.
starting a fund. 10 out of 10 people
wouldn't do it.
Which is why, like, I got a text this weekend. Actually, you and I, Locke, got tagged in a tweet from someone who's like, donate to this. Can you please send out this tweet to donate to Free Kiska, the whale that the orca, the poor orca that we saw. Did you see? And so what I did was I got it and I sent it to Phil on the weekend. I'm like, Phil, should I be tweeting this out? Like, are these guys with you? And Phil and I had a nice little exchange. But there are now so many different people that have flooded the space now that Phil has actually moved the fences back and drawn attention to this and paid for it, literally paid for it with 10 years of his fucking human life. You've got all these grifters coming into the space, confusing everybody about the whole thing, right? Like that itself has got to be difficult because it's like you're fighting the good fight, and then you've got all these people now that you have fucking pushed those fences back for those animals going, we're with you, Phil. Give us money too. This has got to drive you fucking crazy.
I try to let it not, but yeah, of course it does. There's moments where I'm just like, okay, I'm not the first person to defend myself. Most people don't want to have to do that. They just don't. They just care to lead with their intention and let the work speak for itself. And frankly, if I were to just allow myself the dignity to just not respond to these people, because frankly, again, it's the vocal minority, but it's like there's something about the left that just they choose to eat themselves. So somehow, by virtue of my sticking my neck out and being for at least a brief moment, everyone's like, hey, he's done the right thing, let's support him. Then what happens is everyone starts to get fatigued by my being the only face in the space, and then what happens is they all want their piece, and then they turn on me. So yeah, I'm not just fighting Marineland. I'm also and you know what's hilarious is some of the people. This is the brilliance of when people turn on me, if you will, and I get it. I'm an easy target too, but it's when they defend Marineland's points. How fucking weak is that? It's so boring. I'm always just like, oh, dude, come on with that though. Like Marineland's got 9 years to try to prove anything they've said about me in court. You're gonna turn around and try to come up with the same talking points, dudes. Literally talking points that are based in are completely baseless. Literally as examples of without base whatsoever. They're using the exact examples that Marineland would provide. But again, it's just talking to talk. It's so what I would say of my endeavor and what it is that I do and the hate and whatever else that comes with it is it's been like, so my foray into adulthood was delayed, sort of by virtue of just like me being a slow developer, and you guys are as well, by the way. And
yeah.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Hey, dude, I told a group of people the other day I didn't grow up till I was 44, so don't worry about it. I got it. Yeah.
What I'm saying is adulting is hitting me like right smack in the face like a brick wall, and so I'm navigating it both as child and as like a person who should be standing more tall and maybe not swearing as much and maybe not hitting the bong as much. And I forget that perspective, that there's also a certain side of society that would like to see someone that is maybe less as I don't know what as me, and I get it, but
you.
I'm trying to become me. Yeah, I'm still just trying to be me, which is not easy. It's no picnic, and I'm trying to also become me while everyone's trying to pull the picnic blanket from underneath me.
Plus, you're smart enough to know that it's not about you; it's about the whales, and so maybe that's the.
But the criticism is always, it seems, by the people that want more from me. It's the ones that say that I don't do enough. So it's always the ones that are just like, so I'll get incessant messages from people saying, well, tell me who your source is. But Phil, how can you confirm that this is a real thing? It's just like, well, how about I owe you fucking nothing, dude? Like, you're a fucking spectator to my tweets and you didn't pay shit to be here. Like, enjoy the fucking show. Like, what do you mean? And so I just get, and then they're just like, Phil's not telling us anything. Phil's a liar. Oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, he's ripping. Phil's always showing his six pack. Oh, let's get him.
You sound like Artie Ziff, Marge's high school prom date.
Artie Ziff.
Remember him?
Just doing his impression.
Marge, don't tell anyone about my busy hands. Not much for me, but it would kill the whole community if they heard of it.
But that kind of comes with the territory, right? Like, I mean, if you're going to be out there advocating, you got to be ready for the anti-advocate and the other people who've been inconvenienced by your perspective to come after you, right? Like, that's the part of adulting that I think that everybody fucking forgets is like the real adult in the room that wants to take care of business, put the toys away and get to it. The real adult in the room has an opportunity to be able to make a difference. And at the same time is like, whoa, everything I've done for my 40 years on this planet up until this point was very selfish. And then you find out working in the best interest of something like this that not only makes news around the world, but also garners attention that you really probably didn't want, right? It comes with a whole bunch of fucking bags that you got to put on your back. And if you want to keep going, you got to keep going. And that's what makes you amazing to me. Like, that's what makes your journey so interesting, which is why I told those people that sent us that Facebook link to give money to Kiska. This woman was like, don't you want to give money to the whale? I'm like, does the whale have a wallet? Like, does,
digital wallet?
Right. I'm like, and then she's like, but Phil's just using it to pay for legal fees and stuff. I'm like, because people know that, because if without Phil, there's no this. Like, there's absolutely nothing that you can do to convince me that trying to help you helps these animals more than it helps giving money to some fucking GoFundMe account.
How do we help you, Phil? Is there, like, I know you have merch, don't you?
I've got some merch and stuff. I got a GoFundMe. GoFundMe simple, savesmooshy.com. Merch is simple, stealawalrus.com. I mean, again, largely it all just goes to my lawyer. It comes to me first, okay? Full disclosure, just as the people are saying, it's only going to Phil. Yeah, it comes to me. And then I give it to my lawyer, because if I were to take it and steal it and live this super high life, which, by the way, my air conditioner is broken in my like 2014 or 2013 truck, with the manual fucking windows. But, if I were to take this money and live again this super high life, who wins? Because what happens is Phil goes broke.
Yeah.
I go broke. If I don't use the money for the legal bills, I go broke anyways. This isn't I can't go broke, people. I gotta afford my legal bills. Let me assure you, at $350 an hour, and with pending pre-trial and the promise of a trial, I still, despite 9 years of fundraising and going on the world's largest podcast and the hugest campaigns and raising in excess of $500,000, I still conceivably don't have enough to get through a fucking trial. That's the reality of the fucking legal business. But this notion that, no money that goes to Phil's lawyer benefits the animals. Well, in fact, it does. I mean, Marineland, first off, it should be noted that the laws that were passed, S203, which I have tattooed to the side of my body because I'm quite proud of the fact that I both inspired its inception and largely babysat it to fruition. Because of that, Marineland was not able to breed animals. Well, if they're on average breeding 6 beluga whales a year, 2 to 3 of which would die a year, the other 3 would die guaranteed eventually. Well, then the argument that I'm not saving animals is moot, because there's 12 less animals currently that are either dead or not, or that have been spared of an imminent death and or the incredible suffering of life in captivity. So this the notion that what we're doing, bringing both attention and actual laws changing and forcing Marineland to a level of transparency to prove to the world that they are abusive and that everything they're saying is baseless. Dude, that is what helps the fucking animals. So I don't try to waste my time with these people. Look, I got a fucking mission. I got to fucking help the animals. I don't got time to fucking sit there and talk to these people. And this is what pisses them off. They're just like, he's not giving us the time of day. Let's get him. He's awful. It's just like, no, dude, I'm fucking talking to a fucking billionaire right now. And I'm talking to people at his fucking whale sanctuary. I'm talking to the fucking cops that are telling them stop fucking visiting me. And I got lawyers that are beating me down. Like, no, I don't really have time to deal with the fact that you're angry that you don't
like how I'm doing it. Yeah.
Well, you're not the person with the microphone at the end of the day. That you're not. Much of their arguments were, she's not even hitting her head against the wall.
The fact that you have to deal with those dirty animals, the lawyers, is enough.
SaveSmooshy.com if you want to donate. Phil has done yeoman's work, and he's done it when everybody else was like, it's too big of a fucking mountain to climb. Not only did he climb it, He's standing there waiting for all comers. So if you have a chance to donate, please do so. We have a Fuck Marineland link to Save Smooshy at DeanBlundell.com. You can go and check it out. We put it up there the other day, actually about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Yeah, I know. Everybody else is like, Marineland's great. Click this link, and you'll get 2 free tickets to go ride a shitty ride and see a sick elephant. And then we'll put up, and it's like, here's our ad. Fuck Marineland. Click here and give money to a guy who's trying to fuck them over, because that's truly the thing that's made the biggest difference. And if you can donate to Phil, I encourage you to. Do not donate to anybody else. This is where your money should go if you really want to make a difference for these animals. At Walrus Whisperer on Twitter. Follow him today. Phil, thank you very much for doing this. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Always my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Great to see you. That is Phil
Where were the
Demers,
hats? Where were the hats
my
again?
friend and yours.
Whale?
Hats are Steal a Walrus. StealAWalrus.com, I believe. Yeah.
Steal a Walrus.
Yeah, StealAWalrus.com. Fucking guy, eh? Go get him, Phil.
I fucking like him.
Get him, Phil.
I like him. Oh my God, we
too.
haven't got enough fucking people around like him.
I know.
Yeah. And you know
Those
what?
are the people that make the difference, right? What's up?
And that the stuff that he was talking about at the end, just like if I was in Phil's position, I don't think I would want. I would be the leader, and I would just I would be like, I've been at this for so many years that you can either like understand what I'm dealing with and then help me, or not. But like maybe what he was talking about, a lot of egos try to come in situations like that and literally ride the coattails of somebody that's been working for years to try to like protect animals of a certain kind, and will just, poison the entire operation. So I think that he has a right to sound a little egotistical, I think, when he's talking about the mission.
I didn't hear any egotistical, like I didn't,
you know what I mean?
That doesn't come through. Like, I think
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying, but I don't get that from him. I get complete and total frustration for what he's going through.
Maybe
And
I chose the wrong word, because
something-
I think we're saying the same thing, because it's just the way that he's just like, no,
his energy is harsh. It's aggressive, but it has to be. But I also think you get the sense, now this is the second or third time we've had him on this podcast. Every time he's on, you can tell he's constantly trying to reevaluate who he is and how he comes off. Like, I think he's concerned about that and concerned about who he is and whether or not he's the right person for the job. And I hope he has people in his life that are able to help him with that, because I think he's perfect for the fucking job. The fact that he's sitting there having an internal conversation with us while he's having an external conversation says a lot about the type of individual he is, right? Like, who gives a fuck if you swear too much, right? Who cares what people think about you? Who cares what the left think about you? You know what I'm saying?
I didn't understand that part. I like what was the issue with like a certain sect of the left was being what? I didn't understand that part.
Well, it was like who's left. It wasn't like a section of the left, but like like the left crowd, like the people that all those wokesters that are like animals should all be allowed to roam free, and all the other like he's talking about the fucking people that like base their foundational personality on being that person, that do-gooder, animal welfare, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking
more about them
people that
than
are
animals.
like, chicks that don't shave their armpits and put proud vegan on the back of their car and PETA on the other back of their car.
Which
He's
is
talking
ironic.
about those losers.
When you don't shave your armpits, you do kind of smell like lamb, and then they're vegans, right? So.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
And
the thing about it, like,
PETA.
we see all this. Oh yeah, PETA is a fucking joke. PETA's like PETA's like, oh dude, PETA's a fucking joke. They are all about the grotesque, and they're about the grotesque and guilt. But the woman he was talking about, Ingrid, who runs PETA, is she wears leather. She's a diabetic, and so she like PETA people are so hardcore. If they're diabetic, they will get alternative diabetic medicine that doesn't have animal byproducts in it, because diabetic stuff has like animal byproducts in it, right? She's like full on that. And the whole thing is about paying her money. Like it's yes, dude. That's all these are. Same things with animal adoption agencies, right? What a fucking joke those are. What they do, generally speaking, is they say, hey, sign up for this animal, sign up for a dog, and then you'll sign up for a dog, and they got your email, and then they sell your email to people, and they make money. That's how these
Sarah
things
McLachlan aware of this?
I think so.
So I'm slowly spiraling out of control into hell right now.
Just make Sarah McLachlan jokes. It'll be fine.
You can't fucking trust anyone. We're so on our own now.
Not that you are, but you aren't. Nah, but like that's why we have these guys on, right? Like we want to talk to him about all different parts of what he's going through and what he's dealing with, and then when he drops the bomb that, oh my God, PETA isn't a do-gooder organization. I mean, they send hot models into the middle of the street to pour red paint all over themselves as protests, right? And they hold signs up that say no fur. Meanwhile, these models have full pubic hair and massive armpit cheese, and clearly they're into fur, right? Like it's the most weird podunk organization that you have ever met, and they're backwards, and they don't give a shit about the ethical treatment of animals. Yeah. They give a shit about getting your email address.
Didn't Leonardo DiCaprio like 20 years ago take a lobster from a grocery store and like release it into the ocean as one of their publicity stunts? Do you guys remember that?
No.
Yeah.
I seem to recall.
Apparently it would have died immediately because of the conditions of that ocean, but yeah. Good job,
fucking
Leo.
wild, isn't it? Yeah. Strange world. Got an email yesterday from Locke, and he talked about this young lady that had posted this thing on Facebook named Kristy O'Heir. And Kristy, I believe, is from the Edmonton area, if I'm not mistaken, Locke. Is that correct?
I do believe she is from the Edmonton area because
the YEG.
I recognize Kristy not from this pod, but from our show. Like I think she was a locker room listener and maybe got turned on to the pod, or I could be wrong, but that doesn't matter. I just know that like I know there's a connection to Edmonton.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll find out because she's here and joins us. Hi, Kristy O'Heir. Are we saying your name properly, Kristy O'Heir? Is that right? Yeah. We need. Oh, you got to turn your. I don't. There you go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you turned me off.
Oh, he does that to a lot of people.
I turn a lot of people off on a daily basis. Look at me. Look at this. How are you, Kristy?
I am good.
Yeah, nice to see you. Do you live in Edmonton? We were just talking about you while you were listening, but are you an Edmonton person?
Yeah, I live in Leduc, just outside Edmonton, and I did actually start as a locker room listener, and that's how I found this podcast.
Now, is Lachlan's show as annoying as this show? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I would say no because I text in every morning.
So it isn't as annoying as this show. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean,
no. Nice. Yeah. They're both pretty fucking annoying people.
Apples versus apples.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, you posted something on Facebook, and it got Lachlan's attention, and he got in touch with you. Is that correct? Is that how we got hooked up?
It actually started with part of your conversation yesterday when we were talking.
She sent me a note.
Yeah,
okay.
I said, if you're interested in reading this, here you go.
Well, because I'm really struggling right now, and I think I've alluded to it a couple of times on this pod about where we're at and why, and my contribution, positive or negative to and not that I think that I need to save the fucking planet. I need to get my head wrapped around where we're at, right? Like I'm really
you're verklempt.
I'm very torn between, because a lot of things that I have held true have been torn apart in the last little while. Like I am like, if 5-year-old, like if 40-year-old Locker found out that he was on the air promoting vaccine passports, or at least agreeing with it, like that, like 40-year-old Locker would have beat the shit out of 50-year-old Locker. Like there's a lot of turmoil I have with what we're going through, and I'm being pulled a lot of different directions. And I think Kristy heard that, and I think Kristy's in a similar position right now because and I'll speak for Kristy just quickly here based on what she posted on Facebook. She's a very private individual and has been struggling with this COVID thing for the last year based on a very personal story. So I think she saw that and felt that from me yesterday on the pod and sent me a message on Facebook Messenger saying, I posted this. You have a listen or have a look at it. And then I shared it on my Facebook, and I know Dean is anti-Facebook, so I had to send it to him, and then we decided to get Kristy on. So
and what was the
sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, when I first got sick, I started posting about it on Facebook, and I was bombarded with ridiculous questions, like just frustrating questions. So I was like, no, it's not worth my time. Screw you guys. I'm out. I dropped off Facebook for quite a while. And then I'm like, no, it's time to get this story out because it's not told enough. People don't know.
And what is that story? Because for anybody that doesn't know, Kristy is a regular listener to the podcast. She's often commenting. But what is the story that you shared on Facebook, Kristy?
Well, a lot of people don't talk about the aftermath. I mean, I got this and I got this and I have to do injections. I mean, before this, I was on birth control. That was it. I mean, that's the most frustrating question that everybody's getting. Were you healthy ahead of time? But no one talks about everything that happens afterward. I'm almost a year after contracting COVID and still seeing specialists, still not working full time. I basically have no life. I'm a lump on a log. I'm not allowed to do anything. Hard time breathing. The wonderful, wonderful things of heart conditions now. A lot of issues with my brain fog, not being able to get words. I was trying to say blueberry to my husband the other night. I couldn't get it out. He thought I was having a stroke. I could only get out the first syllable. I'm like, who can't say blueberry? There's just so many things that affect people and continue to affect people after they get COVID that they never had before. I mean, there are people who are lucky and like, oh, I had a headache. And those people, I'm like, screw you. I wish that's all I got. But you don't know what strand you're going to get. And you don't know how it's going to affect your health when you're done. So I wanted to get my story out there so that hopefully the people who are on the fence, whether or not to get vaccinated, it might push them towards the, hey, this person was healthy and now she is very unhealthy.
And when you say healthy, Kristy, you were constantly out and very active and taking dance and teaching dance and things like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was dancing, I would say on average anywhere between 6 to 7 hours a week. I was in singing groups. I was in some drama clubs. I was on boards. Like, I was never home. My husband loved it. I was never home.
So when did you get COVID? Like, what were the circumstances behind it? And then take us through, the symptoms and what you dealt with and what you're still dealing with, if you can.
So I got COVID November 12th, 2020. And I was one of the lucky cases in Edmonton that got dropped because they had too many for contact tracing. So I have no idea how I caught it. They never investigated. Because I didn't have any direct contact with anybody who had it. I mean, I could have got it from the grocery store or the gas station. I have no idea. I think I spent weeks going back in my calendar trying to figure out how I could have possibly caught it. It started out, I thought I had slept with my mouth open because my throat was so dry. And then it just kind of proceeded from there. I started to get a stuffy nose, and then I started to get a headache, and then I could barely move. The sinus pain was insane. And then about 4 days in, I lost my sense of smell and thought, shit, I got it. So I got tested. And then from there, I mean, I couldn't even be upright. I couldn't even sit up for 4 days. And I had no choice but to get up on that fourth because I had to get tested. So I literally propped myself on the shower because I hadn't showered in 4 days. I wasn't going to go into public without showering. So after I got through the testing, I actually had to lie down in my truck before I could go home. And that was only 4 days in. And then there's, oh my God, so many lung issues. I would stop breathing in my sleep. So for quite a while, I was only sleeping in 15-minute intervals. Nonstop headaches, the pain in the body is just unreal, and the pain even still now. That's why I have injections. I'm on anti-inflammatory injections once a week that I have to stab myself in the stomach with to try and get some of the pain and inflammation in my body under control. And this is still a year later. All this inflammation is still in my body.
So this is called long haul. What you're dealing with, the long haul COVID, right,
Yes.
Kristy?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had? Are you okay answering a vaccine question?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
So you've had the vaccine?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as my age bracket came up, I was like, appointment. And then when it came up for the second dose, appointment.
Okay. So, and did that have any impact? Did it slow down the symptoms at all? I know you said you've been dealing with this for a year now.
Yeah, no, it did nothing. And I was actually kind of excited to get vaccinated because I read some of the people talking about how some of their symptoms had subsided when they took the vaccine, but I'm not so fortunate.
What exactly are you doing right now, Kristy? Sorry, Dean. What are you doing right now as far as a continued healthcare regimen? I know you just showed a bunch of inhalers and some pills and injections, but are you able to get in to see doctors and specialists about some of the shit that you're dealing with?
Yes, I'd say probably about 60% of my appointments are phone appointments, and I spend a lot of time at the K Clinic, which is the branch off of the University of Alberta Hospital. I've seen.
What's the K Clinic? Sorry,
the K Clinic.
Yeah, is that specific?
Sorry, go ahead.
Specific to COVID?
No, it's a building next to the U of A, and it's just where they're studying COVID in long-haul patients. So I'm also being studied as well as being treated.
That's hilarious. Yeah, like that you're like it is. I mean, you're being treated, and this is still so new, and there are so many people that are struggling with long-haul effects, including one guy that we work with. We had him on the show. He showed his inhaler yesterday. His name's Brenton Donnelly. Great guy. Work with him here. He's got a podcast here. He comes back last March. He was like I believe he was something like patient 41 with COVID in all of Canada. And he comes back last March from a tour, and he describes the exact same thing. Woke up, thought he slept with his mouth open, sore throat, couple days later can't smell for shit, and then goes through, like, if you've all had the flu, we've all had like bad flus, goes through a flu that he thought was going to kill him. He's like, I cannot describe, like you were describing not being able to get up. He's like, have you had a migraine before? I'm like, no. He goes, imagine a migraine, but 10 times worse, and your whole body and your lungs, and you can't breathe, and everything fucking hurts. Yeah. Right? Like that's the way that you described it. It sounds like you haven't had relief from the second you got sick.
Well, my lungs have actually gotten a little bit better after seeing a pulmonary specialist 3 times and 4 respiratory therapists and 3 inhalers. There has been some improvement in my lungs, but my oxygen saturation when I'm in movement, that's where the issue is. When I move, my oxygen drops dramatically. So that's what they're trying to figure out. Like, I did a 6-minute walk test, and just in the first minute, my oxygen levels went from 97 down to 81.
Wow.
Non-smoker?
Non-smoker.
Non-drinker? Do you drink?
I drink. I'm an occasional drinker, a social drinker, I guess. Or if someone really makes me angry, I need that bottle of wine.
I'm a social drinker too.
Yeah, he socializes all the time though.
I drink so I can socialize.
Yes. Well, the injections
to be social.
Stand me.
The injections I'm on, I'm only allowed 3 drinks a week, so I don't think Lachlan would be able to take these injections.
What if they're kegs?
Yeah. Does that one drink?
As a drink, they didn't.
Yeah, atta girl.
I've never been one to follow the rules of the
I was going to ask
prescribed
Kristy
amount of drinking.
Sorry, I don't mean to step on your line, Lachlan, but I was going to ask Kristy, because you're a long hauler, is it tougher to figure out the contact tracing element of it? Because could you have been non-symptomatic for like a month before you even developed symptoms?
No, there hasn't been any linking there. There was, because they had said when you show symptoms and you test positive that you could be positive up to a week before that without showing symptoms. So if I were to when I got tested 4 days later, if I was for months having it and not knowing, I wouldn't have shown up as a positive test.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I want to highlight something quickly here, just about Kristy, because I think just in this short period of time, and I know Kristy a little bit just based on our interaction with the show, because I read her texts every once in a while and stuff like that. So you get a sense of people that way. But I think one thing that needs to be said out loud is Kristy didn't tell her story because of the type of personality that she is, which is fine. That's awesome. She's now stepping out now because she sees a need for it. But when she was trying to tell people about it, she was being attacked. And I think that's part of the reason why we're not hearing a lot of these stories, because if you go online, if you go on Facebook, if you go on social media sites and you say, you know what, like, hey guys, maybe you want to get maybe you want to get the vaccine, or really I highly recommend this because I'm dealing with this. You get, oh, you fucking Nazi, fucking go home, you fucking, you know what I mean? Like you get attacked from that side, and they're very vocal, and that's part of the issue that we're dealing with right now. Because I mean, I've heard of stories like Kristy's, but you don't see a lot of it, right? We're not hearing a lot of this, and there are a lot of people that are dealing with, and not just Kristy is different, but everyone else is different. My mom had kidney issues and is still dealing with long haul symptoms from getting COVID early on in this whole thing. And I don't know what the fucking connection between COVID and kidneys is. Like, we don't know a lot. And the doctors keep telling her, we have no idea what's going on here. I mean, that's
which has got to be the most frustrating part for people, Locke. And Kristy, like, how many doctor's appointments in the last year have you been to where they're all like this?
Well, like, I mean, a lot hundreds? Of it is let's learn together.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, Kristy looks like somebody that is clearly a shill of the big farm, and is probably collecting thousands and thousands of dollars on a weekly basis. Just
she looks like a Pfizer employee.
She's going to be on Cribs any second now.
I'm here for the moolah.
Yeah, well, you should be, because Big Pharma looks like it's taking care of you. Look at that Stein you got behind your right shoulder. That doesn't look cheap. Then you've got a couple of other little trinkets, like that thing that looks like a deer dick on the second top shelf there. That's not cheap. We know you're using Big Pharma money to pay for that. Who paid for it? Pfizer, Moderna, who?
Pretty soon she's going to be able to buy that Ford Escape.
Well, that's a great question. Like, who attacked you? Because I said to you last night, I'm like, what? Because you're very private. You haven't shared the story. You've dealt with it for a year. You finally came out and spoke yesterday. Locke was attached to your story because he knows you. I asked you the question, why so quiet?
Well, I mean, I started out telling, and then family just started coming after me, and friends.
Family?
Yeah. I had quite a few families. So I have a lot of family in Ontario too. And a lot of that family was like, are you sure you have COVID? Like, how did you know you got COVID? Like, you got tested? Why did you get tested? And even though you were tested, are you sure you got COVID? Like, are you sure you just don't have the flu and it's not allergies? I'm like, are you seriously asking me this right now?
Yeah.
Did they have any idea how many people would have to be in on the conspiracy if something like that were true? Like, how many doctors and how many countries? We're talking like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people all going like this. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm no rat. No, this whole pandemic is fake, but I ain't no fucking rat. You know, like what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Snitches get stitches, you guys. Don't say a fucking word.
Jerry,
like Jesus.
Jerry, you put the mannequins in the ICU beds tonight. Block people.
Well, that's a true story, but
there's a window in my door, and people would come to my porch to wave and say hello. And even those family members would see, like, I lost so much weight in the beginning, like my cheeks sunk in, my eyes were black, like, and I had to lean against the door because even then I wasn't strong enough to stand up. And they saw all this and still were like, yeah, the vaccine. And they're still not vaccinated.
Crazy. That is crazy to me. And when you say family, are you talking like extended family? Or are you talking immediate family that didn't believe you?
I'm talking immediate family.
Like
Plus, you were talking
sister,
about your
brother, mom, dad, who?
Yeah, my brother, my mother, my mother's husband.
So when you show them your diagnosis and your inhalers, do they think you're making all this up? Like, what the fuck did you when how was Thanksgiving? what happened?
Yeah. Unvaccinated people hugging vaccinated people, and those vaccinated people were very upset.
Yeah,
it's also worth pointing out that I think, Kristy, that of the people, like you said, your eyes got blackened, and if there's one thing that this group has in common, they don't like black eyes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, so Thanksgiving, you're well, she's from Alberta. There might be something to it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's a Western province. But like, yeah, what, like mom and brother, you said, right? Don't believe it. So how is that, like, what happened in Thanksgiving, and how's that relationship, and how fucking impossible is that to manage?
Well, I mean, the relationship is quite strained. My mom doesn't fully understand why I'm not talking to her as much. They believe that I'm sick.
I'll phone her and tell her.
They believe that I'm sick, but they don't believe that it's COVID that is still causing this problem. And they keep
what do they believe it is?
Well, they keep bringing up things from my past. Like, you remember when you had bronchitis and laryngitis and they put you on an inhaler? That's what did you in, because you live with cats and dogs now. And
have they tried to gaslight you by saying that maybe it's psychosomatic or something like that? Because
yeah, I have on that one. Yes. Like, are you sure that you're experiencing these issues? Because you look fine.
Like fibromyalgia people get that a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's lupus.
It's actually one thing a lot of the doctors keep talking about. I haven't been tested for it yet, but they keep leaning towards that I may have developed fibromyalgia from it. And they think that it's just, I was just always in pain, and all of this stuff had just brought everything out into the open, and that I'm not actually dealing with long haul COVID, even though I'm being seen by an insane amount of specialists.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, your mom, is she a doctor? Brother, is he a scientist? No? What is your mom? What is her medical background? What is it, do you think?
Well, I mean, she spent a lot of time in the hospital.
I'm sorry. We like to laugh on this show at other people's suffering.
Well, I mean,
now I know why you're a locker room listener, Chris.
Yeah.
What's that, Kristy? What'd you say?
Well, no, I said with my interesting upbringing, I knew I would get along with Lachlan and James right away.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We've all had a good go. Your mom spent a lot of time in the hospital sick, so she feels like she's a fucking medical professional. See, and this is the incredible part to me. Like, this guy tweets me the other day, and it was Dr. Mario Elia, the guy we have on the show all the time. He's a doctor, legitimate doctor. He talks to us and debunks stuff with us all the time. You've probably seen him, Kristy. Dr. Mario Elia. He's a great dude.
The one with the kid.
So this guy, his daughter gets sick and is exposed to COVID at her daycare. And it was given to the daughter, by someone who was not vaccinated. And so he tweets about it and how important vaccines are. And this guy's like, whatever, dude. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. And then I tweeted yesterday, and this is like a true story, because there was an article that I read on how peanuts are actually more dangerous than vaccines, like way more fucking dangerous, because of how many people are allergic to fucking peanuts. And this guy's like, vaccines caused the peanut allergy. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like,
I've heard
this
that.
is fucking, yeah. And it's such a fucking, like,
people believe it.
And that's what, like, these people are embedded in all of our families, right? Like, we've all got them. I got one. I was telling you guys about it the other day, and I was telling Kristy about it in a tweet last night, because I'm like, hey, listen, I feel your pain. I got a family member that's probably bagging up some rice, trying to load up the RV to head for the fucking hills. Like, I completely understand it. But, like, there's this thing, and I don't know how you handle it, Kristy, but there's this thing that's like, with me, it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I love that person. She's my family. This person's my family. But if that's how they want to run around scared for the rest of their lives and pretend that this isn't happening, it's like you have to, and it's so hard because you love the person, but you got to separate yourself from them. Have you been able to do that yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've done pretty good with that. I mean, most of our phone conversations, there's no talk of sickness. Like she doesn't ask about my appointments. If she asks, I'll tell her.
That's good.
But we usually just steer away from that conversation altogether. It's more of a, how was your day?
That sucks because it's like the most important thing in your life right now. And for some reason you're getting static. And I'm sorry that you're going through that. That's awful. Yeah. I would block my mother immediately. I would not talk to her ever again. No, because it's supposed to be, that's your mom.
God,
it just
James,
hurts.
You and I are so alike.
I'm just saying, In fact, I think I still have to unblock my mom from the last time that we got into a fight.
And in the good news here, Kristy, because I'm a glass half full guy, and I was saying this to the guys the other day about Thanksgiving.
No, you're not.
Of course I am. I'm a glass half full guy.
This is what you are. Here. Hey, look at that. It's a glass and there's stuff in it. You don't even go half full or half empty. Right?
Yeah, you're not selling that fucking like snake oil to us today. There's no
what are
way.
You talking about? I'm a positive guy.
Yeah, sure, but you're not a glass half full guy. You're I don't fucking care if you die guy. That's not glass half full. The stoicism doesn't have a fucking glass. If you're fucking
gonna get a heart attack, can you do it on the air, Lachlan, for the content? Just trying to be positive.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not a glass half full guy.
I'm
more of a I don't care about the fucking glass or who's drinking out of it kind of guy, right?
Exactly. Yes. And I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure you're not fucking lying to us.
No, I'm not lying to you, but I am trying to massage my reputation a little bit for sure. Like positive Mike's, like Dean is for sure more positive than Lachlan. I know that. But I'm happy to
negative guy I've ever met. Thanks, positive Mike.
But my point is this: is that like there's this thing that people get, and I was saying this the other day, is that the people like your mom. I don't know your mom, but I'm guessing she's probably like my relative who also doesn't believe in any of this shit, and it's like that relative that I'm talking about has never been overly concerned with what goes in this person's body, And then you're like, what about the vaccine? She's like, I don't want it. I'm like, how about those chocolate covered Cheetos? Yeah, those are good. And you're like, all right, whatever. I mean, like you're preaching to the choir, and then they're like, I don't believe in modern day science. You're like, how the fuck is that even possible? Like, you don't believe in modern day science anymore? No, I've decided against it. Why? Because I'm on Facebook all day. And you're like, okay, no problem. And that's my thing, right? Like, I'm guessing your mom is a lot like everybody else that is like, see, the vaccine is not for me.
Yeah, I don't know what's in the vaccine, but let me enjoy all this baloney.
let me fry up a 2-pound coil of bologna that I found on the side of the road.
Yeah.
But this
Happy
vaccine,
birthday.
forget it. You know what? I'm not sure what's in all this Hennessy I'm pouring in my glass, but let's drink that too. Like literally. That's what we're dealing with. That's the insanity of it. And then you got someone like Kristy, which has got to be fucking disappointing, right? A little bit in your family. Like it's got to be a little disappointing to go, look at me, I'm unwell. Yeah.
Yeah, disappointed.
Are you married?
Well, I'm not legally.
Oh.
Yeah. But you live with someone and
yeah, I've been with the same
COVID?
guy for 16 years. He's a contractor. And we've always had the rule, even before COVID, that if one of us is sick, we sleep in the spare bedroom. So as soon as I got the sniffles, I moved into the spare bedroom. So he never actually caught it from me. We lived like roommates for like 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that's okay though.
And
that's
then what
probably
happened?
leads to a better relationship. Yeah, probably it's okay.
Wait, what happened after 6 months?
I moved back into our bedroom.
Okay.
All good.
And bada bing.
Congratulations.
There we go.
Stylish.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
points for style. Well done.
Yeah. How is that? Now, can I ask you a serious question about that, Kristy? How has COVID affected that part of your life? Has it been difficult to?
Yes.
Dirty talk.
So interesting story. When I started to feel somewhat better, we attempted to have sex, and he thought he killed me. He was ready to call an ambulance.
I often feel the same way.
What do you mean he thought he killed you? Like what?
I couldn't get off the bed. I could barely breathe. He was really dizzy. So I mean, he said, I mean, he would be proud to say that he fucked me to death, but
love this woman. It's official. I'm in love.
Kristy O'Heir.
I gotta side with your husband.
My O'Heir
on
stand
that.
up. That's all I know.
Chrissy, I have to side with your husband on that. I'm sure he would be sad, but I'm guessing that would come up at the funeral.
I'm guessing he'd get a couple
you know,
of
I
fist
fucked
pumps
that
at
woman
the
to
wake.
death.
Yeah. Can you imagine being at the wake? He was standing there. What's your husband's name or boyfriend's name? What's his name?
Dustin.
Justin or Dustin?
Dustin.
A very Alberta name. Dustin.
That's
So it's
it.
like,
Yeah.
Dustin, I'm sorry for your loss. And he's like this.
What are you doing later?
Killed her with it. She took it like a champ. I got a bright future. Because she couldn't even get off the bed. Died right there.
But she could get off. All I'm saying.
That is, that's actually, just picture yourself in that position, right? Like
Which
you have
position
sex
was-
for the
right,
first
on the
time in
back.
6 months, and
Yeah.
then you look down and she's like, oh, like I would,
Yeah.
fuck.
I would be like this.
You
Yeah.
keep going?
Got it.
That's the thing. Shit. She's in one
That
of
was-
those crazy,
that
like
was doing
multiple.
shit out of
I'd be
orgasm
doing
stages.
finger guns. I'd be doing like, boo, boo, boo. That's right. And then you'd be like, hey, wait, are you okay?
Someone get this chick a helmet.
Sorry to laugh at your misfortune,
Okay,
but that's
hold on,
quite a great
Christy.
story.
You are an amazing sport. I want to ask you a very, very serious question, and this is going to be a hard pivot here. But how are you doing mentally? Like, are you struggling with this? I'm struggling with where we're at, and I don't have fucking long haul.
Well, I mean, I went from a busybody to a half a busybody when COVID started to literally nothing after getting COVID. So to say it's messed with my mental state would be an understatement. I've been assigned a social worker, and I have to go see a psychiatrist. Apparently I am passively suicidal. I didn't know that was a thing or how that even works.
I just want to punch myself in the face. You know?
I never heard of that.
Have you got people?
Usually there's intentionality there.
Have you got people in your life that you can lean on? Is is Dustin a good ear? Because a lot of time the husbands aren't. Please don't say that this podcast is helping you get through it.
No, no, he's been amazing through it. He's actually too good of a listener. It pisses me off sometimes, actually.
What?
I can't use the "Are you listening?" and then he'll repeat back.
Sure they will.
Everything I said. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have a best friend and I have an aunt that have been. Yeah. I mean, there's no way I would have gotten as far as I am today without those three people.
Okay, good. Okay, cool.
That is good.
Yeah.
Justin, are you even listening to me? I said Thursday. Yeah. Thursday.
Listen, Kristy, we're your friends too, and I want to thank you for telling your story, and I want to thank you for being honest, and I want to thank you very much for being courageous, for being brave enough to, in the face of all the rednecks in your life, to be able to go, hey, listen, fuck you guys, this sucks, because it sucks, and we believe you.
She's not.
And you're not
exactly. And your personality, like you can tell that you're a salt of the earth person. You have a good sense of humor, and I think that that's a valuable thing to have. So well done.
Yeah.
And
listen,
I'm sorry,
Kristy,
you can't drink.
Yeah, me too. That's.
Do you want me to send you some mushrooms? Because I can do that. I can just send them.
Okay.
Get high.
Sure. I've only had mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done. I'll do it.
You're talking to the right guy. James is like the mushroom god. What about dope? Are you smoking enough dope? Are you smoking enough dope and drinking enough wine? There's a question.
I've had some CBD pills to help with some of the pain.
We'll get you some peyote. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah. You'll go to the fucking moon.
Yeah, that's
Kristy. We're gonna send you to the fucking moon. Okay. But listen,
Yeah,
you stay
I'll
in
go.
touch, Kristy,
I don't
and we
even
really
ever
appreciate
live
you
on
being
the
here.
moon, said her mom.
Appreciate you, Kristy. And stay in touch with us. Keep listening, keep watching. At Kristy O'Heir is where you can find her on Twitter. Is that your Twitter handle? Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
She's
And
got 9
Facebook as well.
followers. Let's get her up to
I
9?
do. I have so
She
many
has
followers.
12 now, I think.
Well, let's get you
I'm
some
one of 'em.
followers and keep
I'm one of the
telling
9.
your story.
So much.
Yeah.
Me too. I follow Kristy as well.
There we go. You're
Thank
up
you,
to 10
Kristy.
now.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Kristy.
Pat.
Hey,
right.
listen.
We'll talk to you soon.
She might hear this. I needed.
Oh, no, bring her back. Let's bring her back. She's right here.
I
Go ahead.
needed your story yesterday, so thank you for sending that to me. I did.
Oh,
It
you're
actually
more than
did.
welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got me off the
There you go.
ledge.
Thanks, Kristy.
Yeah.
Were you a little jacked up?
I
You are a little jacked
I'm
up. It's like you
fucking-
can't
I'm wound
separate.
up lately. I'm really.
You
wound
can't
up lately.
separate the fucking crazies from real life, dude. That's
He's
the
trying to
problem
remind
you
me
have.
right
is
now.
that-
The crazies aren't getting to me right now. It's the I can't explain it. It's my I'm having a really hard time dissecting everything, right? Because I
You
think
see
I
the
need to
paradox.
shut it off. I think I need to shut off all the content
Disagree.
coming at me.
There's a
Just-
paradox
okay.
at play right now. There's a bunch of people that won't get vaccinated, and we need all those people to get vaccinated. Sorry, and that's it.
I don't.
That's the paradox. That's where we are.
I don't care if another single human being gets vaccinated in this country. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
That
You know what I've
glass
s-
full of something.
You know what I?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's full of shit.
He's taking the glass. He's shitting in it now.
Why, when I pour it, it sticks to the edges?
Half full of shit, but it's still half full.
God, I do honestly, and I will say this: that I mean, this podcast is actually helping me, helping my mental health. I and I'm not just saying that. I honestly, I honestly, I mean it. I don't. I
Yeah,
think it's
well.
keeping me out of my head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's giving me something to do. It's making me productive, and I have no problems being productive. I'm like a workaholic. I keep going all the time, but I've also been sick for a month, and it's not COVID. I've been tested twice now, and this fucking cold that I've got just beat the shit out of me. So I think that's also having a lot to do, and I'm not working out as much as I was, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. We got to follow. We got to follow.
Just-
got her to 11 or 12 now, Kristy.
Just so you know, booze actually suppresses your immune system too. So you get sicker, you get healthier if you just took like 2 nights off.
All right, where's that
I'm
fucking
not
glass? Is he shitting in the glass
I got a
again?
super liver. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, let's take the one thing Lachlan lives
The one
for away
coping
from him.
mechanism I have.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
I used
yeah,
to say that all the
yeah.
time. He said, "You need
The
to slow
one
down your
thing I
drinking."
look
Oh, do you want me to
forward to.
cope? How do I cope with life then? How am I supposed to cope with life if I'm not going to drink? How am I going to? Oh, you just do it. No, that's impossible. Oh, okay, it's possible. But do what you got to do, dude. You're not an alcoholic. You just love to drink, and you're
I could
sick
drink.
because
No,
you
I'm
got
a
to fucking.
total. I'm
you
a
got the flu.
total alcoholic.
You're a total
I've
drunk. You're
admitted
fucking
that
lemon,
freely.
for sure.
The problem is, I know I would replace it with something, and I don't
Yeah,
know how to get
Coke?
heroin. So yeah, or blow. Can you imagine how fucking annoying I would be on blow? Holy shit! I
You would
can't
spend like
imagine-
15 minutes going like this. Now, I'm not saying blah 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 blah, but it would last.
And then you'd
like,
say it.
then you would
Yeah.
say it 15 minutes later. As you, came
You,
up
I
with
could
several
handle.
words.
I don't know if I could handle Jamesy on blow. I
I'm
don't
on
know
blow
if I
right
could.
now. You guys seem to be handling me fine.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
I know you're
Um,
not.
I'm chatty, but I recognize the annoying chatty, so I try to listen, but only in spurts, and then I walk away randomly. Like just,
Oh,
I
dude.
don't want to be in someone's space for more than 20 seconds when I'm on blow. But
Mhm.
yeah, but it's been a while.
Well, I'm glad you're not on it today. Glad we had Kristy on the program to talk about long
She
COVID
was
from someone
awesome.
who's fucking incredible. Eh? She's like,
I like her.
especially when, yeah, I do too.
Salt of
Especially
the
she started
earth.
talking about that first time she had sex after she had it.
That was a
And
great.
she's like-
That's a
and-
clip, Joe.
And her husband's like, yeah.
I think the clip today is fuck PETA. If we don't
Yeah.
have that as a clip, then we've failed as a podcast.
We got lots of clips today. We got a lot, which means it was a pretty good show. Thanks, Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton is where you can find
Thank you,
him
boys.
at Lachlan Cross on
Thank
Twitter.
you, guys.
Great to see you again, brother.
I'll break my
and
rule
my
and come
friend-
to Edmonton sometime soon. Like, well, probably not. Probably not. Sorry.
Not
So,
until
are
spring.
you
'cause
okay
it's
if
like
you-
death in the winter.
If you guys come to Edmonton, are you guys okay if I drink?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And then
prefer it.
you guys
I don't want to
can
hang
get
out
on
with
the-
you when you're not wasted.
You
that.
guys can get on the weed. We got to do a nice dinner or something like that. Go to
The weed.
Montana's.
If you can
It's a lot
find
easier if you
Zoom,
just
yeah.
came out here. Go to
That's-
Montana's.
That's
Be a lot
Guys,
easier if
I
you
have a
just flew
palace
out here.
in the middle of the forest in the most
No, it'd be easy if like your
area.
wife gave you a ride and she dropped you off down here, James, and we all met at my place. What?
Yeah, in the hot spot of COVID. Sure, let's do that.
No, ask your wife. Say, hey, can I get a ride to my friend's house? And then she'll give you a ride.
Asking my
Honey.
wife for a ride? Are you kidding?
Babe, can I get a ride to my friends?
Yeah. Can you drive me 4.5 hours away?
hitchhike.
I'd rather.
Anyway,
Trust me.
I got a
Thanks for the
kid
long
in
ride.
Toronto, so I won't be that long. I'll be there soon.
Yeah. Dude, love to have you.
We're going to
but thank you.
Hungary in
When?
December, but I
He's
don't
been
think
trying
we're
to
going to
leave
be
the show for like 10 minutes.
I don't think we're going to be stopping in Toronto long enough to visit, though.
Why
'cause
don't you
it's
fly
like,
to Ottawa and come to my house?
Is
then
Killaloo
we'll-
closer to Ottawa?
Oh yeah, it's like 2 hours from Ottawa.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah, do it. Go up to
Anyways,
James's
thank you,
house.
Lachlan.
Enjoy
Thank
the
you,
atmosphere.
Dean. Thank you, Kristy O'Heir.
Enjoy the atmosphere in the house with him and his wife. You'll have a great time. Won't be
No, she
uncomfortable
will
at all.
not be here. Are you kidding? I would like. She'd go to Toronto. That's what would happen.
Oh,
It
would she?
wouldn't be a
Send
good
her
idea to
city?
have me around your significant others.
No, that's why I would send her away
I
with the kids.
destroy relationships.
No, you don't. I destroy my own relationships. Thank you, Lachlan. I don't need your help.
I would accelerate that fucking process about tenfold.
Probably.
Thanks, Lachlan.
Okay.
Thanks, James. Good to
Thanks,
see you guys.
Love you guys.
We'll talk to you soon. Lachlan Cross, James DiFiore, my friends in York. And Kristy, thanks. What a fucking story that was, wasn't it? Incredible. You know, I was reading a report this week that talked about mistrust in media. And it's at an all-time low. Shocker. Mainstream media, all-time low. It's because they lie. It's because they make shit up all the time. And one of the things that they said was the reason why people don't trust mainstream media is mainstream media likes to put elite people on to talk about things that regular people are going through. That was fucking it, man. Having Kristy on, talk about what she's going through, a regular person, day-to-day human being that's dealing with the thing that we're all talking about, and the doctors are like, this is this, and scientists are like, that's that, and then fucking captains of industry are like, this is this. Nah, man. Talk to the people that get it. Talk to the people that are dealing with it. Talk to people like Kristy. Ask Kristy, how are you? What are you dealing with? What's it like? And if someone chooses to get vaccinated after they hear her fucking god-awful story and listen to her talk about her shitty quality of life thanks to COVID, great. I'll share that story. It's the dude that went to the party in Edson to get COVID who's on life support that I'm not talking about. Or those people that are like, we didn't know it was so bad. Yeah, you knew. You knew because Kristy existed. Hundreds of thousands of Kristys existed. And people tried to tell you. Now you want to be on team medicine because you didn't know? Come on, man. It's the real world. This is where stuff happens. So thanks to Kristy for being here. Thanks to Phil Demers, the Walrus Whisperer, at Save Smooshy is where you can donate to his GoFundMe to help him fight for those animals. And you should give your money to him and nobody else. That's my opinion, not anybody else's, but it's the right one. Not often am I wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong sometimes. Gotta be honest with you. Not all the time am I right. No one is. It's the beautiful part of life. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for being part of the show. Thanks to Phil. Thanks to Kristy. Thanks to James. Thanks to Locke. Thanks to our sponsors, including Ed's Fine Imports, his Gitch. Available to purchase now. Luxury-made Gitch goes on your body, and you put your junk in it. Got a nice little pouch, boxer briefs, great seams, super, super, super soft fabric. Softest in the world. And Canadian-made. Go to edsfineimports.com. Order his Gitch, Gitch. Gitch3 is your promo code. He'll send you 4 pairs for the price of 3 when you use that promo code. Thanks and hello to our friends at Blue Microphones at Blue Microphones on Twitter or bluemic.com. Check them out today. Logitech group of companies. We use all their stuff to stream, podcast, game, all of the things that you can use. They've got everything. Blue Yeti X is what we use for mic. MoFi headphones for headphones. Logitech, I think it's the C920 camera, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the one. You can use them too for everyday or for professional use. They've got everything you need to be able to do stuff like this at home. Go to bluemic.com or @bluemicrophones on Twitter. There you are. Easy Auto Financial, our partner in yours when it comes to getting financing for a car totally free of charge, no obligation. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Again, EasyAutoFinancial.ca. They not only help you get your financing, they'll actually send you to the actual place that has the car that you've been scoping out the whole time, too. It's incredible, and they don't charge you anything for it, so try them out today. EasyAutoFinancial.ca and Domination.com, DMNTN.com. Try them out if you're a content provider and you like to produce content. You make it, and it's hard to do because you got to go and edit. It takes hours. This takes like 10 minutes. You get 75 pieces of content. It's incredible. Try them today. DMNTN.com. Try them for free today as well. Everybody can try them for free once. That's what they do, a little free try. You don't have that in the world's oldest profession. Free tries. No, got to pay for those. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.